Do you have an opinion on any of the quarterbacks up for being drafted on Thursday night, Troy?
Here's the hard part, Rich, is that I watch these workouts, and if you can't look like a first-round pick in shorts throwing a football with no one rushing you, then there shouldn't be a conversation. I mean, I don't know how you evaluate a quarterback watching a workout, quite honestly. You see the ball. I think arm strength is often overrated. I've heard people say, hey, this guy can make all the throws. I still don't know what that means, because what throw cannot a quarterback make? I mean, I want to hear, rather than he can make all the throws, I want to hear someone say this quarterback cannot make this throw. There's only 32 of these jobs, and if you can't make the throws, then you shouldn't be talked about in the first round either, and you're not going to play. And so what, in my opinion, defines whether or not a guy is going to be effective. First of all, you got to have good players around you. So if you go to an organization like we were talking about just now with Aaron, if you go to a team that has good things around you, like we saw with Brock Purdy going to the 49ers, you have a chance to play well and play well early. I was a much better quarterback when we had more talent than I was early in my career when we didn't have much. So it does take some time, but it's of the things you can control. Mm-hmm. All of the measurables, those are the easy things. I mean, that doesn't define how great a player is going to be. Tom Brady is a classic example of that. What, in my opinion, defines it is, does he make good decisions under pressure? Does he want to be great? Is he a good leader? Can he get along with his teammates? Is he going to be the first guy in the building, the last guy to leave? All of those things, and none of that, you can't measure any of that. So, and it's sometimes hard. I think oftentimes you can sit and talk to somebody. There's no foolproof way, and that's why, it's a flip of a coin as to whether or not a first-round pick is going to be successful. But I think you have to be in the room and talk to a lot of people and really get to know the person as to whether or not then do you like the guy. Now, me just looking at these players and saying, okay, well, I see this, I see that. I look at Bryce Young, and he's played against top talent. He's played well. And the height thing I know has been talked about, or his size, and I don't think that's as big of a factor. The game has changed. It's played differently than it was. And then you tend to think, hey, I've heard he's a great guy. I've heard all the things that I just said. Mm-hmm. I've heard he has and he possesses. You say, okay, he's done it at a high level where he's been. You'd probably bet that he's going to play at a high level, then in the NFL. But I heard somebody say that at number 2, Houston has to take a quarterback and because they're in desperate need of one. And I say, if they don't like the quarterbacks, then you don't take a quarterback. I don't think you take a quarterback just because you need a quarterback if you don't think the guy can play. And then that becomes the evaluation process. And the last part of this is this, Rich, that I've been saying this a long time. Every year there is a top quarterback in the NFL. But that doesn't mean that every year there's a franchise quarterback in the draft, So you have to. I don't know if every year there's a top quarterback in the draft. That doesn't mean that every year there's a franchise quarterback in the draft every year. But every team, as we know, that is starved for a quarterback, you tend to get a little over anxious, and you feel like I think sometimes you talk yourself into it and say, this guy's the future for us. And we've all seen so many of the quarterbacks that haven't had the success. Is that all on them? No, it's not. Like I said, a lot of times it's on the organizations as well.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.